Et bonjour à toutes et à tous. Aujourd'hui, on explore à nouveau au-delà du chaos. Et aujourd'hui, le chaos s'appelle encore une fois Little Orpheus. Petit rappel, c'était un jeu d'aventure et de plateforme développé par Chinese Room et publié par Sumo Digital qui est sorti en 2022. Donc on va descendre au centre de la Terre, explorer des mondes complètement improbables et voir jusqu'où cette histoire peut nous amener. Sachant que le prix, si le jeu vous intéresse, sur Instant Gaming est de 1 €, donc c'est cadeau. Et nous on va reprendre tranquillement où on en était hier, donc de mémoire au chapitre 6. Alors il me remet au milieu à la fin du chapitre 5 plutôt. Ça nous fera une transition parfaite. On va se remettre dans l'ambiance tranquillement. Toujours avec ces petits cris de panique. Allez, on devrait pas tarder à être bon. Et donc nous revoilà dans notre petit missile.
Will our determined yet disorientated hero end his days as socialist sushi? Will his daring exploits be cut tragically short by vengeful calamari? Will the general's wife ever forgive him for missing Ruslan and Lyudmila? And just how many eggs did Pavel steal, and where did he keep them? All of these questions and more may or may not be answered
dans le prochain épisode qu'on va lancer tout de suite. En avant. C'est parti. Je vois pas comment on va pouvoir se sortir de cette situation. Il semblerait que notre ami le cosmonaute ait de la chance. On vient d'arriver dans un nouveau monde. Bon, faut toujours qu'on retrouve notre ami l'esclavagiste, hein, qui a le Little Orpheus avec lui, hein. Donc là, nous... on est juste avant cette petite séquence. On se rapproche de la fin. Épisode 6. Vers la Lemuria et au-delà. C'est parti.
The sun beat down on me relentlessly. The heat was unbearable. I was exhausted. Yet I could not stop. I had to go on. For 7 weeks I trudged across the desert. On the second day...
Please, comrade, if we may. I think we can skip the details.
Il a marché pendant je ne sais combien de jours.
To the location of Little Orpheus.
Of course, General. We will simply omit the tale of the singing chasm, the oasis of mirrors, the sightings of Tol's Mieng fell off on their pterodactyls carrying parts of my crashed rocket drill over the horizon to Lemuria.
Wait, the what?
Singing chasm?
Not that, but the rocket drill.
Oh yes, General, the rocket drill.
La fusée foreuse.
What did Tol want with
ah oui.
it? And why Lemuria?
Donc Tol, c'est l'esclavagiste.
Lemuria,
hein.
General.
I am not
notre ennemi qui nous a encore échappé.
Well, that is because it does not exist, General. Or at least, so I thought.
Ah. On va sûrement être aidé par quelqu'un. Ok. Oh. Toujours aussi joli, hein, le jeu. Toujours aussi joli. On arrive encore dans une nouvelle cité, apparemment. Ok. Ok. Pratique. Ok. De gros cristaux.
Those strange crystals seem to exert an extraordinary hold over the stone blocks and arches. When they hummed, the whole city remade itself. Where they were missing, clearly looted by some villainous thief, the city was fallen to ruin.
Ah oui.
It was like a vast musical instrument, vandalized, and yet still attempting to toot.
Solide, notre cosmonaute. Il se pète pas les jambes après un saut de 15 mètres. Ok, une autre cloche. On va l'activer tout de suite. Très pratique ça. Hein.
How poetic.
Ok, on va aller une troisième.
I'm sure our engineers would be fascinated and baffled in equal measure. If the whole department hadn't been arrested for sedition last week, I would happily convey it to their skeptical ears.
Sedition, General? Really?
How poetic.
Ok.
I'm sure our engineers would be fascinated and baffled in equal measure.
Là pour avancer plus vite.
If the whole department hadn't been arrested for sedition last
Est-ce
week,
qu'on le laisse pas tomber et on essaye de repasser dessus?
Sedition, General?
Ah ok ok.
Really?
Il est en boucle.
This is unfortunate news indeed.
I am joking, comrade.
Bon, c'était bien pratique, ça devient dangereux maintenant. Oula. Ah bah il y a l'espèce de dinosaure volant sur lequel s'était enfui notre ami l'esclavagiste, Toll, qui est là. Donc il doit pas être bien loin. En espérant qu'il vienne pas nous bouffer. Bah si. Oh. Ça c'est fait. Ok. On va tirer ça tranquillement. Activer. Et voilà. Toujours des petites mécaniques simples. Ah, ok. Moi j'aurais dû y aller. On va attendre un peu. Toujours c'est les esclaves qui ressemblent à des zombies. Allez, c'est fait.
Oh yes, the Mank for here, all right. Which meant whatever dastardly scheme Toll had, it was to be enacted on these burning sands.
And you will explain this in due course, I imagine.
Eminently, General. What you need to know first is this. I have told you already how parts of the devices the enslaved Mienk were forced to wear came from the surface.
Radio parts and so on, yes, from what you have told me. Assuming there were plenty of lost ships in the ocean as you claim, for Toll to have dredged up what he needed to assemble them.
Aha, good. You are one step ahead of me, General.
I said assuming.
Of course, assuming.
Supposons.
Now,
Allez, c'est
as I
parti.
gazed in awe at the buildings rising and falling around me,
Il va pas nous
I
lâcher.
realized that the other major component of those mind-controlling helmets was crystal. Toll had raided Lemuria for them. He knew the city. He knew the crystals could
Okay.
amplify vibrations and waves, and was using them to boost the signal of the radio parts to exert his control over the nymph. Which meant...
Les niveaux sont toujours très inspirés. Que ce soit au niveau de la musique, de l'ambiance. C'est vraiment incroyable. Hein. Ça passe large.
Yes, imagine, General, what such amplification could achieve
Okay.
when fused to the finest atomic science our great Soviet civilization has produced.
Ok.
Wait, I do not understand. You said Thor was
Je suppose
planning
qu'on peut
on
pas aller
using
vers
the
là-bas.
bomb to shatter the Earth's crust to return to the surface.
A tragic mistake, General. They had not recognized the extent of his mad ambitions.
You mean to imply Thor would have attempted to enslave the Russian people? Puh!
Ça devient
The
tout de
will
suite
of the
plus
Soviet
sombre.
citizen is mighty and strong.
To you, perhaps, as a trained warrior, but consider, perhaps
Ouais,
instead,
c'est encore là, hein.
a humble son of a toy maker from Tomsk.
Ah,
Encore là.
yes.
Allez, c'est bon.
Perhaps we have our share of
Vite, vite,
symbols.
vite, 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 vite,
After
vite,
all.
vite, vite, vite. Non. Bon, apparemment il ne me voit pas. On va attendre. On va assurer le coup. Hop. Je sais pas ce que ça va lui faire. Ok, ça va simplement bouger une petite passerelle. On est bon pour faire demi-tour. Ok. Allez, c'est bon. On passe au-dessus de sa tête. Il ne voit pas. Mec. Toujours son petit rire. Très discret.
The vast pictograms told of a history of wonders.
C'est beau.
They seem to suggest the Lemurians were travelers from another world, where a mysterious clock
Une espèce
seems to
d'horloge.
stand.
That is very mysterious. As mysterious as the location of Little Orpheus, perhaps.
Ah, yes, of course, General.
Okay.
I am just getting to that.
On va continuer. Ok, on va attendre qu'il se retourne. Ok, on va pas attendre qu'il se retourne. On va passer par-dessus. Je suppose qu'on va activer ça. Ah ouais, d'accord. Wow. Ok, il faut que je refasse le tour. Allez hop, là ça passe. Là, ça passe. Ok. 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 C'est fait. Encore une autre
As I
horloge.
bravely explored that ancient city, a question was gnawing at my mind.
Non, elle fait moins horloge.
What did it mean that the Lemurians had
cadran.
foreseen the coming of Tol? And who was the man from above that was celebrated as the savior of the Mienf? It was almost as if they could read the future in their crystals.
En tout cas, il n'y a plus grand monde. Ils avaient prédit que l'esclavagiste allait venir. Mais pour l'instant, on est seul. Hein. On n'a pas rencontré qui que ce soit, à part les esclaves.
Told and told, a roaring symphony, a crescendo
On va
of
retomber
peals that set the city dancing. Each
sur
note
notre
causing
ami.
the crystals to shimmer and cascade with light.
On va essayer de nous
But the
bouffer encore.
sandstorm was no natural phenomenon, and the bells did not ring for celebration. Something was very wrong here.
Aside from the pterodactyls and the nymph and the dancing stones and the ancient magical prophecies and the
Voilà.
crystals and now
D'accord.
the giant bells, you mean?
If you want to continue, General, then I can easily just quietly go home.
Don't think Chepucha will get you out of this one, comrade.
Encore. Et il se marre. Il se régale. Il y a vraiment un rire de demeurer. Oh. Ok. Bon, on va tracer. Bon, on va se faire bouffer là. Pas écraser. Ok. Pas si simple que ça, il faut que je me retrouve pile dans le... au niveau du trou. Ok, le trou il vient là. Le trou il tape où après? Ok. On va attendre ici alors. Ok. Bon, là le problème c'est qu'on voit pas. Bon, je suppose que ça doit être là au niveau du tête caillou tout simplement. Ouh. Et bien joli ce cristal au centre. Ok. Allez, c'est fait. On va aller retrouver nos amis les dinosaures.
I raced through those magical structures, a righteous fire in my heart. I was like the Brinya Nikic, prepared to strike at the dragon who threatened my homeland.
Your heroism is only surpassed by your modesty.
On the contrary, General, I chose the Brinya carefully. Like him, I am a simple peasant. It was fate that chose me to descend to the Earth's core.
It was General Komanin who chose you to descend to the Earth's core. But don't
plus en
let
plus
that
de
get
cloches.
in the way of your story.
Oh, well then, award General Polkovnik Kamanin the highest medal in the world.
He already has several of those.
I cannot take credit for his wisdom in sending me.
Ok. Allez, c'est reparti. Essayez de pas se faire bouffer. On s'arrache. Ils essayent tous de nous bouffer là. Oh. On arrive au centre de la cité.
What was once a rocket drill ship, built to burrow into the earth,
Ah,
was now a
ben,
mighty
voilà la
vessel,
fusée foreuse.
repurposed
Elle est
to
là.
blast off into the skies.
Ok. Ok. Oh! Allez, on retente. Ça passe.
There was no doubt the toll was headed for the strange world with its clock, although to what end I was yet to understand. But there was no time to consider, no time for questions.
Wouhou! Ok. On va tenter de ce côté-là.
Toll was on the rocket. Little Orpheus
Ah, il se
was
barre
on the
avec la
rocket.
fusée.
And
Oh
wherever they
putain.
were headed, I must head
Oh.
there too, to thwart his plans, recover my drill,
Eh
and
ben,
save
du
the
coup,
world.
on part bien dans une fusée. On part bien dans une fusée. Pendant le petit récap au début de chaque épisode, on avait eu un doute. On pensait que on nous parlait de la torpille du sous-marin, mais non, il prend bel et bien une fusée. Comme ça que se conclut le chapitre 6. Je sais pas ce qui l'attend à notre ami là, mais... Ça s'annonce compliqué. Comme toujours.
Little Orpheus.
Allez, ben c'est parti, on enchaîne. Hein. Épisode 7. Oui, je sais. Épisode 7. Metagalacticus Interiorus. C'est parti.
Laika!
Oh,
Are you stuck,
un toutou.
It was Laika. I am sure of it. That spirited little dog
Elle va venir
saved
nous sauver.
Laika saved you in her little space machine.
I believe the
Une
correct
petite
term is
chienne qui
capsule,
s'appelle
Don't push your
Laika.
luck any further, Ivan Ivanovich. I fear it might snap.
General. Oh, my apologies, General. In my excitement to explain what I discovered on the far side of the Metagalacticus Interiorus, I got carried away. And
Bah
it
apparemment on n'a pas
happened
besoin de
like
casque
this.
pour respirer nous. Allez, c'est parti pour l'épisode 7. Il me semble que le jeu est composé de 8 épisodes. De toute façon, on va aller au bout sur ce stream. Alors ça, on l'a fait. La cité avec les esclaves. Le pays des neiges, on l'a fait. Ça, par contre, on n'a pas fait. Et c'est parti, épisode 7.
A rocky moon. It's the center of the earth.
The source of all creation, General. A place where time flowed like rivers, and boulders of raw matter rained like comets upon the cratered rock.
Another miraculous escape from death. Another happy accident.
It was no accident, General. Laika took me there entirely deliberately. I'm sure of that. She continues to be a heroine and a savior and protector of our great nation.
On dirait qu'on est sur la lune. Ah, ben Laika ne reste pas avec nous.
Laika died in
Oui,
orbit.
on a toujours cette espèce
she did
de...
not. She's very much alive and
de
happy
saut
and currently
lunaire.
living several miles below our feet.
Laika is dead, Ivan.
She most certainly is not, General.
This is the real world.
Donc s'embrouiller comme d'habitude.
A world where you did not go to the center of the earth,
On
and
va
Laika died
avancer
in
pendant
orbit.
ce temps-là.
In my world, General, Laika is still alive.
A better world, some may
En tout cas, le général ne croit pas du tout l'astronaute hein, depuis le
I
début.
will live in your world for a while longer, but time is
Il
running
ne
out.
pense qu'à
Yes, time.
sa machine.
I was just coming to that. There in the distance it stood. enveloped in a mighty time storm. The world clock, General.
L'horloge du monde.
The beating heart of all history. The axis mundi, the
joli, ça,
pillar of the
encore.
world.
Not enough to conquer Russia by drilling back to the surface with his magical mind-controlling atomic radio set, then.
No, General. You see, what if he could fuse Little Orpheus directly with the world clock? Then his message would radiate with every tick and every tock. He would not simply be the Tsar. He would be the Tsar of all time, the eternal tyrant, the literal incarnation of everything our glorious revolution stood to overthrow.
Ok. Ça nous a TP ailleurs apparemment. Ah, dans le temps, on revient dans le passé.
But it was somehow different. I felt no cold. The waves were motionless. Indeed, it was as if I had stepped free of those rivers of time and stood on entirely motionless ground. And there in the distance,
What?
debris from Syria
Est-ce qu'on va repasser par tous les niveaux?
Almost as if I were meant to find it. And there, amongst it, the winking of steel led me to a blasting cap. And a plan began to form.
Ok. Oh super. Il manquait plus que ça. Oh la vache.
Was ferocious. Explosive eruptions of fire and heat.
Ah bah là,
Thunderous emissions.
oui. C'était un peu juste.
The terrain was
On va pas avancer
ferocious.
trop vite du coup.
Explosive eruptions of fire and heat. Thunderous
Okay.
emissions and lethal gases.
Much like your cousin Pavel, perhaps, as a result of consuming all of those stolen eggs.
Ah, General, you have been listening after all.
Oh bah dis donc. Ça passe pas loin. Bon, il lui arrive toujours des problèmes à notre astronaute. Mais il se marre toujours autant. Oh, ça tombe fort là, les météorites. Ce fut juste. On devrait être à l'abri là. Ok. C'est pas juste. Ah, on va retourner dehors. Ah, ça va nous renvoyer peut-être dans un autre monde encore.
Agartha again. But why?
You are stalling, comrade. The clock is ticking.
Tick-tock, tick-tock. Of course. In a flash of inspiration, I understood. It was all wrong, you see, General.
That we can agree on.
We should never have gone to the center, because without Little Orpheus, Toll could not have become the tyrant he had. The rocket drill was his means to reach the world clock, but it was
Oui,
Little
là, c'est le
Orpheus
monde
that
avec
enabled him.
l'esclavagiste
And
et les esclaves.
Time itself, the world clock itself, was determined to make matters right.
With a little help from you, of course.
Merely a simple pawn in a game played upon a cosmic scale, General. But a pawn who understood that he was being given a second chance to grab a chunk of the explosive resin that wondrous city was built upon.
C'est bon là. Ça va nous renvoyer sur notre planète. Est-ce qu'on va encore se faire bombarder?
Even
En tout cas, il y a quelque chose là. Quoi, je ne sais pas.
Time is almost up. I have to submit my report within the hour.
Time, General. Time was nearly up indeed.
Okay.
That ancient and magical river that carried me
Bon, j'avais le
along
temps.
was surely moving inevitably towards some kind of end.
Impeccable. Ah, d'accord, ouais. Dommage. C'est une espèce de clé qui tourne. Ouh. Ah d'accord, j'avais même pas vu. Non, ça va, on était large. On va essayer de prendre un peu d'avance. Bon là, si elle ralentit pas, la plateforme, c'est mort. Hein. Qu'il y ait quelque chose qui la ralentisse. On la voit même plus.
Enough. No more Privalov. No more stories. No more lost worlds and space dogs.
Oh non, c'est bon, elle est là.
I'm full of it. It is nearly midnight, and you have not given me the adequate explanation for the whereabouts of Little Orpheus and the atomic bomb.
But, General, I am about to tell you what happened when I finally caught up with the villain Toll.
I do not care, Tavarish. I simply do not care. You have worn me down, and it is time to call a halt to this. I bear you no malice, comrade. In many ways, I admire you, but time is running out.
Le temps
Yes,
presse.
General, yes. Time. Because it was time itself that suddenly appeared to be
Que ça
on
va
my
encore
side.
nous renvoyer ailleurs, dans un monde qu'on a déjà parcouru. Très probable que ce soit le premier
Perhaps the
où
world
il y avait
clock
les
was so
dinosaures.
impressed with your
Oui, c'est ça.
egg-wearing antics, it decided
parle
to
d'œuf.
return you to Plutonia for a second attempt. I would strongly suggest you cut to the chase.
Ah ben oui,
The
oui,
chase,
effectivement.
yes. The pursuit of Toll and Little Orpheus.
Notre
I
ami
stood there with
est
the
toujours là,
resin fragment in
la
one
gueule
hand
grande ouverte.
and the blasting cap in the other, and then, just like that, a clock began to ring.
Ok.
The world clock?
No, General, an alarm clock. My Slava alarm clock, in fact, given to me by Auntie Masha.
The one who married the beef investigator.
The very same. And the moment I saw that clock, I knew what I had to do.
Ok, ben c'est bon. On y est. Qu'est-ce que l'avenir nous réserve?
Yes, I'm waiting.
A bomb, General. A bomb to destroy a bomb.
So, you decided to build a bomb, eh? A bomb to destroy Little Orpheus.
It was a simple plan, really, General.
Yes, you are very fond of your simple plans.
Ok. On se rapproche.
It was the last time I was to see those poor enslaved Mienf on my journey. As they scurried in agitation around the base of the
Ah oui,
rocket
les
room,
Menf.
now a dreadful
Menf.
weapon of war in the hands of
Pas
a
facile à
madman.
dire, le nom des
I was reminded of my
des esclaves.
Your mother looked like a mienf. That is extremely disrespectful, comrade.
No, I meant I was raised by my mother from an early age, of course. My childhood memories of my father were all too brief.
You are rambling, comrade Privalov. Time is running out. Derniers,
Time will run out for us all,
Ok.
General, will it not? And it ran out for my father on the shores of Volga.
Your father fought at Stalingrad?
He did, General.
So did I.
Well, so you see, General. Perhaps we are just the same, you and I. Perhaps we are all just Menkf in the end.
On se rapproche, hein. Ok. Serait-ce le monde enneigé, glacé
What possible use in the construction of a
Ou-
bomb could be found in
ou
the
dans
belly
la
of a
baleine.
giant whale?
Oui, ça c'est
Were
dans la
you
baleine, ça.
perhaps planning on using a worm as a fuse?
Avec le ver géant.
That would be ridiculous, General.
I would hate to undermine your otherwise entirely plausible account.
You forget, General. The belly of the beast was full of shipwrecks.
Toujours aussi
And on one of
dégoûtant.
them, I was bound to find what I was looking
Sévère.
for. Fuse wire.
Comrade, yes, you'd forgotten all about the fuse until I reminded you, hadn't you?
General, your cynicism is unbecoming to a man of your rank and stature.
Les discussions entre eux sont incroyables. C'est dommage qu'on les ait pas séparément. C'est pas évident de suivre l'histoire en même temps. Ok. Vraiment un rire de fou, hein. De
Clock
fou
was now
complet,
ticking, General.
notre astronaute là.
Literally. I was surrounded by time, immersed in it, floating along a river of it on a raft made of history, seeking the next moment of opportunity to
se
hurtle
sent pas bon, là.
backwards amongst those lost worlds.
I am a patient man, Tavares. I lost 3 toes in the winter outside Sharkovskaya in 42. A drunken dentist removed 2 frostbitten toes and 1 perfectly healthy one. You may therefore consider me a man blessed with an uncommon level of endurance for discomfort.
I hate visiting the dentist. My uncle Vanya was a dentist, and he was a deeply strange man, notwithstanding the love he
Normalement,
felt
vu
for
qu'on n'a
his
pas de
pigs.
problème de
Is
saut.
what? He was a pig
Bah si,
dentist.
loupé. C'est bizarre, des fois il le tolère, des fois il le tolère pas. Je suppose qu'on descend. Impeccable. J'ai l'impression qu'on est au cœur de l'horloge. Avec tous ces rouages. Allez, ça passe. Ok, et maintenant on va remonter. Ah mais ça y est, ça commence à redevenir le bazar. Le liquide qui remonte. On va se dépêcher. Oh, c'est bien joli. Alors quel monde? Dans quel monde il nous a pas fait revenir encore?
And that strange submerged city, and those poor lost vessels.
Ok, le fond de l'océan.
Find a shell case to hold all of my scavenged ingredients, the last piece I needed to construct my bomb.
Ah, yes, I have been waiting for this.
General?
Time, Ivan
Le
Ivanovich.
kraken.
Whilst you have rambled on and on about it, I have simply bided mine. I am a patient man, as I have said.
Yes, I don't feel I paid enough attention to the story about your toes. Do you have specially made shoes?
Enough! Now I have your full attention. Indulge me, Tavares. Explain to me how you made this bomb.
General?
Your bomb, comrade, that you so brilliantly constructed to destroy Little Orpheus. Tell me how you made it.
Donc apparemment on aurait fabriqué une bombe pour détruire Little Orpheus. Et hop.
Well,
In detail. The type of detail that should present no problem to a man who is actually capable of building a bomb, which I suspect would be an entirely different man to one who cheated on his entrance exams for the cosmonaut program.
Là on semble être vraiment prochain pour le coup. On se rapproche de la fin du niveau.
Cat, got your tongue?
if I may, General, perhaps just a minute or two to gather my thoughts?
There are precious few minutes left. We have reached our conclusion, I think.
C'est reparti.
Yes, we have, General. I gazed up at the world clock and knew I had arrived at my destination. Whatever lay inside would see my journey end one way or another. But I had no idea of the marvels that awaited me. And
The bomb, Ivan Ivanovich! Tell me how you built the bomb!
it was a wonderful
The
sight.
bomb.
The world...
It is 2 minutes to midnight, Ivan.
Bon là ça commence à
It is
sentir
time to
pas bon.
end this story.
Impeccable. Et ben voilà pour cet épisode 7. On va enchaîner directement sur l'épisode 8. Oh, on voit que c'est pas tout à fait fini. Le pilier du monde, c'est parti.
Let us recap. 3 years ago, you were sent to the center of the Earth as part of a top-secret mission to ensure the delivery of Little Orpheus, an atomic-powered capsule. You promptly vanished until you casually wandered up to Molodiyozhnaya station 3 years later, claiming to have saved the world, but lost Little Orpheus in the process. Is this correct?
Yes, General,
Donc
it
on aurait
is,
perdu la,
You
la
are
machine.
charged with many crimes against the state, including desertion, lying to a superior officer, and sedition. Any one
ben.
of these charges bears the punishment of execution by firing squad.
Il veut pas nous lâcher. Hein. Il y a un moment, va falloir qu'on lui dise la vérité, sinon, il semble.
General, you must be reasonable. I did my best. It's all true, I swear. I swear upon the lives of my family.
Oh, do you? Auntie Marcia and Uncle Vanya, the traveling tinker and the pig dentist, or perhaps cousin
Le
Pavel,
dentiste pour
the
cochon.
criminal mastermind with the unhealthy taste for eggs. How stupid do you think
Ils sont
I am?
complètement gelés dans les dialogues. Ok, donc là on est vraiment
So,
à
Dayu, it's
l'intérieur.
all true.
Maybe your toy maker, or was it watchmaker, father, who apparently taught you all he knew, despite being killed when you were less than 5 years old.
I was a fast learner?
You have precisely 1 minute to convince me not to summon the guards, and have you shot on the spot.
A minute? A lifetime. It's all I need, General.
Et c'est parti. Donc, tout ça on a fait. Épisode 8. Le pilier du monde. Et ben en avant. C'est parti.
I was astounded. My father, I told you, I think I told you, he was a toy maker, and he often played with clockwork parts.
Tavares.
But this made all those childhood wonders
Tavares.
pale into insignificance. And it was fortunate indeed that my uncle, my uncle...
Vanya, the pig dentist?
No, my other uncle, Sasha, had taken me mountaineering in the Urals
Oh, la
during my
fausse bonne idée.
childhood, for it was only by scaling these giant mechanical parts that I would reach Little Orpheus.
Yes, I had been thinking that it seems awfully convenient that you were such an accomplished climber. I don't, however, recall any mention of this Uncle Sasha in your file.
He was a very private
He was
man.
a very unlikely man.
That was Uncle Sasha's blessing and his curse.
Ok. Ça passe. On enlève ça. Ok. Oh, petit interrupteur. Allez, on le libère. Hop. À l'étage du dessus. Oh, super. Quoi? Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? Quoi? Bon, ça va, ils sont gentils. Je sais pas pourquoi on s'est vu en double. Ouh, d'accord.
Those great wheels and cogs clashed and boomed.
Ok.
Those great wheels and cogs
Il semblerait que le
clashed and
jeu
boomed. Those great
bug.
wheels and
Il semblerait que le jeu bug fort. On va essayer de
those
relancer.
great wheels and cogs clashed and boomed. The vast hands of all time
Ok, ça a
crunching
l'air de
forever
s'être
and ever
stabilisé.
Ivan Ivanovich.
Pendulums and springs and great big wheels and tiny little wheels.
Tavarish Privalov, stop!
Though at least the Mienk were not here, especially as they seem
Ça a l'air d'aller mieux.
the world below the surface. Mienk, Mienk everywhere. Mienk, Mienk, Mienk. Many Mienk. Mienk for plenty. Mienk.
You are bambling. Comrade, enough.
Ça passe. Bon là il commence à y en avoir un petit peu partout. Allez, ça passe quand même. Bon, ça s'est joué à rien, mais c'est fait. Ok. Ok. Ça on peut gérer. Ça on peut gérer. Ça. J'ai eu le temps de m'arrêter. Ok.
But where was Toll? Aha.
Donc Toll, pour rappel, c'est l'esclavagiste. Hein.
On the clock face, perhaps, with his radios and
On
his
essaie de pas faire
crystals.
bugger le jeu.
If I
comme
could just
avant.
reach him, I could use the bomb.
There is no bomb. You have no idea how to make it.
Allez, c'est parti.
You have no idea about how to do anything one might actually expect of a cosmonaut.
The bomb?
Ivan Ivanovich!
Ils sont complètement fous tous
Is
les deux.
up.
Ok.
Stop talking, Tavarish. You don't know what happens next. It is obvious. You've done very well. I applaud you for your efforts and your story. It is a wonderful tale, Comrade Privalov. I have enjoyed it immensely. But every story needs an ending. And it is clear yours does not have one.
Notre ami, il veut plus monter. On va prendre un peu d'élan. Allez, c'est bon. De plus en plus de rouages.
Just need more time.
I think that even if I gave you all the time in the world, it would not be enough.
Ok.
No, General. I can do this. That is, I remember what happens next. I just need to catch my breath and compose myself.
We both know how this story ends, comrade.
On continue de
But
monter.
Little
Hein.
Orpheus, you
Je sais pas
haven't heard
jusqu'où,
what
mais
happened.
We will find out soon enough. You will be executed, and another expedition will be sent.
No, you cannot. You cannot. We must never go back. You don't understand.
Make me, then. Make me understand. I am a kind man, although you may not believe this. I do not want to have you shot.
je sais pas jusqu'où
So
on monte
help
comme ça,
me.
mais
Make me understand. Tell me what happened to Little
il est
Orpheus.
motivé là, notre ami. Hop.
It was.
Ivan Ivanovich?
It was. It was. No. I'm sorry, General. I'm sorry, I have no idea.
Oula, qu'est-ce qui nous arrive?
You are right. I simply cannot think what happened next. It's just
Oula.
a blank, General. There's nothing there. I am very tired, you see.
Comrade Privalov. Ivan.
You're right. It's over, General. Perhaps you would be so kind as to write to my mother for me.
Of course I will.
You are a kind man, as you have said. And, General,
Yes, Ivan.
was it a good story?
Oh, yes. It was
Une
an
excellente
excellent
histoire.
story.
Thank you, General. I am just sorry I couldn't give you an ending.
Unless...
General?
Quiet, Tovarish, I am thinking. Unless... I seem to remember that there were many problems with Little Orpheus during production.
General?
Problems with the casing around the atomic battery. Concerns.
Concerns, General?
Yes, concerns. Unlikely though that might be. Yeah, it seems if I remember that it failed to secure properly. A sharp blow could spring the hatch and expose the fragile casing of the bomb to any would-be vandal.
I'm not sure I follow you.
A resourceful yet forgetful hero might, one would think, take advantage of that fact.
But how, General? Where would I find something to strike it with?
The son of a watchmaker would easily find something within a giant clock mechanism.
Dans un
that
mécanisme
resembled a
géant
hammer,
d'horlogerie.
surely.
Donc un marteau géant.
Yes,
quoi. Ok.
General. I do remember now. I grasped the hammer-shaped thingamabob.
Let's just agree it was a hammer, Ivan.
Yes, of course. Let's do that. I recovered my senses, shook my head,
Allez,
and
c'est
looked about
reparti.
me. In my distracted stupor, I had climbed further up the tower than I ever
Qu'est-ce qu'on
thought
fait?
possible. In front of me was the clock face, and I gazed out through it at the sheer expanse of history. And I knew whatever happened next. Happened next?
The hand of destiny had fallen upon
On
your
va
shoulder.
s'arrêter.
Yes, it had.
Ça sent le boss, hein, tout
What an
ça.
extraordinary hand it was.
Ok, ben la voilà notre machine. Ah, et voilà Paul. L'esclavagiste. Super. Bon, il a grandi un peu hein, depuis notre dernière visite. Il sert du pouvoir du Little Orpheus. Ouh, il est de plus en plus rapide. Loupé. Bon, il a pas rigolé. Je sais pas jusqu'où on va aller comme ça. Ok. Bon voilà. Allez, boum.
And so, Toll
Toll
was
a
defeated.
été vaincu.
Little Orpheus destroyed. The bomb lost forever.
Not just that, General. In that moment, time sprung back to its proper shape, and I found myself once more in Plutonia, as the start of my journey. But the wound in the
Ah,
interior
ok.
sky
On retourne dans la première forêt. Et cette
The
fois, il y a...
dream was gone. It was as
Il
if
y a tout le monde apparemment.
And they were nymph, free and happy, without the tyranny of Toll, free to pursue their simple lives.
But we can never go back?
Never, General. One drill, one metal sphere, one lone cosmonaut was nearly enough to destroy time and unleash the tyrant Toll upon our world. Who would think an innocuous beeping radio housed
Bon, il
in
risque
a
pas se
ball of
barrer, hein.
metal could change the world
En tout cas, s'il essaye,
Who indeed? But tell me,
ça sent pas très
what
bon.
of you? And what of your return to the surface?
Oui, parce que dans tout ça, on est toujours au centre de la Terre, quoi.
But I came to realize they had begun to worship me as a king. No, General. I am a good socialist and could not allow this workers' paradise to become corrupted. And so I left that wonderful land for the last time.
And then?
And then I walked.
Et puis j'ai marché.
For 2 years I wandered, always looking for a way home, through lands and worlds almost beyond imagination.
Check mon pote.
Until one day, I emerged, blinking into sunlight, and realized I was home.
Ouais, donc on sait pas, il sait pas en tout cas, comment il est remonté
Just like
à la
that?
surface.
You just found your way back to the surface?
Well, General, it was a little more complicated than that. There were great obstacles to overcome and terrible challenges to face and incredible lands to explore.
Enough, Ivan. Little Orpheus is lost forever. The interior is sealed. You have returned with a story of socialism.
Ils s'en veulent,
triumphing
hein,
over
avec le
incredible
socialisme.
odds. It is, as I said, enough for one night. Enough for my report, at least.
General, if I may...
Comrade Ivan Ivanovich Privalov, you are found guilty of all
Oula.
charges brought against
Ça y
you
est,
and
là.
sentenced to execution by firing squad.
Le général, il a plus envie de discuter.
However, having listened to your story, I
Oui,
believe
il est
you are
clairement fou, je suis d'accord avec toi.
quite mad. In other words, I find your madness guilty, not you. And we cannot execute madness. And indeed, there are lessons to be learned, even in the depths of this madness. Perhaps the Americans were right to send a chimp after all.
So, General?
Get out of my sight, Ivan. Go home. Enjoy a state pension as a madman. Just make sure I never see you again.
Yes, General. Of course, General. Anything you say. I shall be small and quiet and live a life without excitement and...
Out! Until one day I just emerged. Oh. Very good, Tavarish. Very good indeed.
Ok, donc il semblerait qu'on ait fini le jeu. C'était bien le boss de fin. On va voir. Voilà, s'il y avait un petit quelque chose derrière ça. Oh, bah c'est Leica. La chienne qui était dans sa soucoupe. Dans sa fusée, là. Terminé l'épisode 8. On a un épisode 9. Ok, bah qu'on va un épisode bonus. Un coup d'oignon en pleine tête. On va lancer immédiatement.
Who's the best space dog? Oh, где моя хорошая, хорошенькая моя, ты просто космическая. Hey, who's the best hairy cosmonaut? It is indeed a lovely sunset, and it reminds me of the skies of Peru. I didn't? I never told you about the wonderful Sky City? Well, it was an extraordinary place, but one filled with dangers. Well, it might have been simple for you to cross it, but you were in a space capsule. I had to rely on my own 2 feet, my noshki. Feet which, I might add, had just crossed the interior, beaten the villain Toll, and helped inspire the Myank to a workers' revolution. Oh, that's all very easy for you to say, but your idea of civilized behavior is licking your own bottom in public. No. My adventures above the clouds were filled with untold dangers, death-defying escapes, and some really quite
Alors, est-ce que le niveau va être plus dur?
And it happened like this.
On va vite le savoir. C'est reparti pour un tour. Pour cet épisode bonus, épisode 9. Épisode 9. Un coup d'oignon en pleine tête.
Weeks had passed since I left Plutonia, and one evening, exhausted, I simply fell asleep at the foot of a strange
Un
window.
étrange moulin.
And when I awoke, well, that thought didn't cross my mind.
Ouais, donc là, ils ont remplacé la conversation avec le général.
This
Avec
is
Leica,
besides
du
the
coup,
point,
avec
my
le chien.
nosy canine friend. What matters is this. When I awoke, the windmill and the ground around it had been carried high into the air. What magic was this? Что за магия? As unlikely,
Okay.
perhaps, as a suitcase-sized
On va
dog
monter dans le
orbiting the
dirigeable.
center of the earth for many years.
Et c'est parti. Je sais pas où on est parti comme ça.
Quick as a flash, Kakmonia, my training leapt into play, and I began to paddle the strange contraption through the clouds in search of answers. It is entirely possible that a miller who owns a windmill capable of levitating high into the air may also own a flying machine. Oh, now you're just being silly. May I continue my recounting of how I sailed over the sky gardens towards the mystical city?
La ville mythique de Perun.
Oh, I must, my moi ushati drug. I must.
Ah. Nous y voilà. Nous y voilà. Allez hop. la terre ferme. Je suppose que ça nous fait voler. Toujours dans le même délire. Avec son rire de psychopathe. On vole tranquillement. Il y a vraiment une dégaine.
What powerful emanations! What mighty gusts! What an epic squall! They reminded me of Cousin Pavel, yes! But whereas his rearward zephyrs could curdle milk and tarnish the teaspoons, these magical wafts only serve to carry me aloft and onwards.
Ok. On avance. Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? Il va falloir que je l'actionne. Pour monter ou descendre. Ok, donc là on a inversé le sens du vent. On devrait pouvoir monter.
But something was afoot in the gardens of Perun. This horrid muck staining the surfaces
Cette
and
boue
making my
immonde
nose
tachait le
curl.
sol et me faisait tourner de l'œil.
Yes,
Sur quoi on va tomber?
it was positively Pavelian in scent. But it did not belong here. I think I once told you of Auntie Masha's passionate encounter in a cable car with the manganese entrepreneur from Chiatura. Now, Auntie Masha told me that there was a disagreeable stain and smell all around those factories and smelting works. Our industry is not without its dangers. Could it be that the once bucolic gardens of Perun were being corrupted by unchecked pollution? After all, science is a double-edged sword, my bristly confidant. Consider Zemikov. Of course. I apologize. Прошу прощения. Two-headed dogs is perhaps a rather insensitive analogy, but not without justification in this instance. I have seen the blemished lands around Norilsk, but I could not believe that I would find such pollution here. But this was nothing to the true horror of what was shortly to unfold.
Ah, quel drame. Qu'est-ce qui va nous arriver encore? Pour l'instant, ça avait l'air de bien se passer, pourtant. Ça va encore devenir le chaos. Dans tous les sens. En 5 minutes. Oh. Pas sur la montgolfière. Sur le ballon. Ok, donc là on est réglé déjà vers le haut. Je suppose donc qu'il va falloir qu'on descende. Vas-y, continue. Ok. Il a pas l'air content de nous voir. On va se barrer.
That terrible Strashnaya machina, spewing its poison into the air, had created a monstrous thing. A being. A malignant spoiler of the noble and pure. And it had taken on the form of its prey. Well, of course. No, конечно, I was the prey. The citizens of Perun had clearly long since fled the evilly sentient smog, but I inadvertently wandered into its lair.
Ok.
Oh, I know. Misfortune seemed to dog me. Oh, sorry, I do apologize. To follow my every footstep.
Ok. Allez hop, on va s'arrêter là nous.
No time to bemoan the hand
là.
that fate had dealt me. No. All that was on my mind was escape, конечно.
Donc là on voit que ça tire vers le bas. Donc il faut qu'on trouve la valve pour l'inverser. Ce qui va peut-être lancer une course-poursuite.
Yes, it was most interesting. The windmill seemed to be from an earlier age. Perhaps this was a devastating warning of the destructive power of unfettered industrialization. I most certainly had not forgotten about the weapons.
La voilà.
I did not get carried away.
Et c'est reparti.
Missing the point. Perhaps because you are only a small dog. Oh, a brilliant, brave, spacefaring dog, of course, but a small Savashka nonetheless. If you perhaps listened more and interrupted less, I am just getting to the explanation of the windmills.
Hop là. Bon, du coup, on n'est pas pris en chasse pour l'instant. Ben le voilà. Il n'était pas bien loin. Ah d'accord. J'étais censé attendre, effectivement. Mais on va essayer de pas se faire avoir cette fois. En espérant. On puisse le semer. Non mais là on est mort à 200% là. Non, c'est bon.
Vast engines, terrible machines, ever hungry and reliant on the rapid consumption of fuel, the production of toxic fumes and choking gases. Pride, my pushisti compadre, pride, ambitia, ambition, the dark side of science. Zemechov's head too many. Don't be ridiculous, dog. Only a Durak with the intellectual capacity of a ringworm would think windmills are in any way harmful.
Bon, pour l'instant, on la semé. Il peut pas revenir. Ok, donc là on voit qu'au-dessus il y avait une valve. On va y aller. On va pas y aller. Allez, demi-tour toutes. Eh ben si, on va y aller. C'est juste qu'on va ramener ça. Oh, c'est bien beau encore une fois. Vraiment des chouettes panoramas sur ce jeu. Qui paye pas de mine comme ça, mais il y a une réelle ambiance, toujours accompagnée de très belle musique, toutes différentes d'ailleurs. Allez, c'est bon, cette fois on y va. Bon, est-ce qu'il va réapparaître là? Non, pour l'instant. Si. Alors là on est d'accord, il va nous bouffer là. Mais du coup, il a pas le temps de nous bouffer. Hop là.
Of course, you never had much of a chance to travel.
On passe de montgolfière à montgolfière.
Sarcasm doesn't suit you. You don't have the tail for it.
C'était juste. Hein.
You do at least have a tail. Mind you, family gossip maintains that so did Uncle Rabliem. Although it was apparently little more than a stop and a source of considerable discomfort and social anxiety for him.
Et nous voilà.
The question of whether or not Uncle Rabliem wagged his stub is very much off topic. What I am trying to say is that your upbringing on the streets of Moscow meant you never saw the blackened fields of Magnitogorsk. The sacrifices made by the valiant citizens of that industrial heartland, as they drowned in their own blight, even as they powered the state forwards. I was reminded of Magnitogorsk as I wandered through those fields of pipes and foundries. And I wept for the loss of innocence that so often goes hand in hand with progress.
Le temps se gâte. Oh. Ah bah il va revenir, on va se barrer. On est blessé en plus. Bon, pour l'instant on le tient à distance. Nickel. Hop là.
Indeed! I just evaded the slimy, oily grasp of that man-made Vadzinoi, his petroleum stink clogging my nostrils and making my head thump. And I felt a great stirring within me. Yes, much like, I assume, Cousin Pavel. May he never get loose again. But no, quite different. This was no volcanic upbubbling of gastric malintent. No, it was the roaring fires of justice once more ignited within me. I felt a swell of patriotic fervor and knew the hand of destiny had fallen on me once more. Yes, what a hand it was! I could not see this great wonder sink into an abyss of poison and bile. The Perunians may have been forced to abandon their city, but I had saved the world once before and was ready to answer the call again.
Donc il faut qu'on y revienne. C'est reparti. On va essayer de sauver la ville pour la deuxième fois. C'est tout de suite moins joli. Toutes ces usines et tous ces nuages. Ok, bon on va essayer de passer, hein. Il remonte pas beaucoup. Mais ça suffira. Oh.
What strange
Une espèce
metal
de
Bielaribbits
poisson
clearly
métallique.
designed to swim through the air. I was amazed. And there was more. Beneath the fins, I spotted the apertures of hoses and was reminded of the time Auntie Agrafina devised a contraption to water all of her copious algae beds simultaneously with one flush of the toilet by a system of pipes and valves that ran throughout her house. Можно так сказать, in a manner of speaking, yes. Her algae were most irrigated, although her neighbor Victor was washing his trousers in the sink at the time and was bruised quite severely about the face and body. But these were no ordinary flying metal fish. They were designed to expel air,
Hop là.
fresh air, and push back the polluted clouds.
Voilà, pour l'instant, on est seul. On va voir ce que ça fait que ça. Ok. Ça va nous permettre de monter. C'est parti.
There is, of course, a fine tradition of looking to nature to solve problems of a scientific or military persuasion. Yes, as you well know. My nephew, Sergei... Yes, the very same. Poor lad with his dermatological eruptions.
Ok.
Well, Sergei was stationed recently at Kazachya Buchta, where dolphins... dolphins
We're being trained as brilliant aquatic agents of socialism. Why not then be inspired by marine life? Why, there is a fish, I have heard, that can shoot jets of water from beneath the surface to knock its prey off little tiny twigs and into its mouth.
Je suppose qu'il faut qu'on trouve un moyen de
If you were
monter.
to tell the average mushroom sheriff that a dog would orbit the Earth, I suspect you would receive a similarly sneering response.
On va partir là-bas.
No, that is because you are a small, hairy hound of uncertain parentage. I, on the other hand, am a cosmonaut.
Allez
The
hop.
product of many months of training, and I realized
On aurait pu le
the
laisser au
answer to
final.
pollution
On aurait gagné
was here
du temps.
all along. The Baronians, tragically, had simply never had time to finish their fleet. If only I could find a working flying fish. If only. If only. Yes, if only.
Ok.
It made perfect sense, of course. The poisonous Tuhata that engulfed Perun was like a nasty cold. And you know what to do with a cold to rid yourself of it. You may not get
Plutôt
colds,
simple
but
pour
nor
l'instant.
can you operate pea-shelling machinery. So don't get ideas above your station. We humans, on the other hand, may produce up to 16
Là, normalement,
million
on peut passer
perfectly
tranquille.
unshelled peas in an average shift. But we are martyrs to our sinuses.
Alors là, ça nous a renvoyé direct.
Aha! These are remedies we Russians have been perfecting over the long
Nous, on voulait
centuries of harsh
simplement
winters. Onions.
s'occuper de ça.
A quick snifter of onion oil will clear your head faster than a Pragviev can clear a hypothetical minefield. Yes, if I could find a functional fish, I would
C'est
become
bon.
that onion.
Ok. L'orage. Toujours. On n'a plus notre ami là qui a essayé de nous attraper. Ok. Petit puzzle. C'est fait. On va passer dans le conduit donc apparemment. Mais c'est parti. Ah. Ah, bah alors voilà. Allez, à chaque fois, on est blessé.
I was close. I could
Voilà, on n'a
feel
pas le choix, faut ouvrir la vanne.
Yes, yes, the working fish, the ribka. I could feel I was at the heart of Perun, and my noxious pursuer had renewed its chase with
Allez,
a
pareil.
terrible vigor.
On est en train de le distancer. Impeccable. On lui remet de la distance.
Not far now. I just had to keep going, keep pushing. It's almost as if you knew, Pavel. Uncanny. How about that?
Ouais, c'est bon, on peut recourir. Hop là. Toujours son rire charismatique.
There she was, a beautiful sight, her scales shimmering in the sunlight, her fins poised for action,
Un gros
her
poisson.
onion cannons primed for a great aerial conflict unseen in the annals of human endeavor. And you are just jealous it was a bigger flying machine than yours. No, Peleus Pow, it was time for science to fight back.
Ok.
Yes, my hairy compatriot, Ayachale, onwards to victory!
Petite cinématique. Ok. Donc là, il va falloir qu'on contrôle le poisson, j'imagine. Oui. Ok. On peut attaquer aussi. On reprend des jeux... les anciens jeux 2D. Ok. Ok. Super. Donc là, on a plutôt intérêt à éviter ce gros laser. Ouh là 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 là. J'ai pas l'impression qu'on lui fasse des dégâts. C'était juste, hein. En fait, faut lui tirer dans la bouche. Quand il se met à ouvrir la bouche, mais là pour l'instant, on subit. Allez, là on va lui mettre tout ce qu'on peut. Voilà. Ok, bon ben voilà. C'est réglé. Ok, ils vont nous le faire reprendre à 0. Bon. On va essayer de faire ça tranquillement. Ok, on se rapproche de lui. Là, normalement, il nous a pas touché une seule fois pour l'instant. Ok, on va passer. On va peut-être pas tarder à pouvoir l'attaquer. Ouais, c'est bon. C'est là que ça se complique. Ok. On va lui remettre pareil. Plus pénible, je dirais que c'est ces éclairs au centre là sont vraiment ceux qui posent le plus de problèmes. Allez, c'est bon. On l'a eu cette fois.
It was a miracle. I found myself swooping through beautiful clear skies.
On n'a plus les sous-titres.
Strange interior sunlight gleaming on the sides of my fishy vessel. I heard birds clear their little throats and begin their wondrous gvalt. The wind gently humming on the fins. And then, all of a sudden, under it all, well, you see, in my hurry, it didn't even occur to me to check how much fuel was carried in the strange craft. With a horrible splutter, the engines choked and died. And suddenly we were plummeting downwards towards our doom. I did not. A simple mistake that many have made.
On a retrouvé les
My
sous-titres.
Aunt Agrafina met her untimely demise being late for a fungal sculpting seminar and making exactly the same error. Only, unfortunately, it left her stranded in sub-zero temperatures just outside Pravachitsinsk. She wasn't found until 18 years after her own funeral, but was perfectly preserved. Remarkable, really. It is beside the point, yes. So, there I was. My fabulous ship had become a terrible prison. I was hurtling to my almost certain death. My triumph turned to tragedy. But then...
Il y a encore quelque chose qui l'a sauvé.
You know what happened next. Even so, moi magnati drug.
Ah.
That is a story for another time.
Donc on n'aura pas la suite de
A most
l'histoire.
extraordinary story, of course, filled with dangers and
Peut-être dans un
wonders.
futur épisode.
And canals, and invasions, and strange doorways to other worlds. But perhaps too long a story for now. Yes, indeed, my canine tavarish. Time for soup. Auntie Agrafina's famous borscht. Coming?
Eh ben, il semblerait que cette fois,
You know, I think
cela
really
signe bien
deserves a happier time in
la fin du jeu.
The benefits of being a suitcase-sized dog in a little
C'était une sacrée aventure. Très drôle.
Yes, the correct term is
Avec
indeed capsule.
du coup 9 chapitres.
As I told the general once.
Bon, je pense qu'il faut à peu près 3-4 heures pour réussir à arriver au bout de l'histoire. C'est le temps qu'on a dû mettre.
Yes, and moving to Bashkiria to nurture bees.
Donc très très drôle, très très beau.
Surprised me too. I thought if
Un
animal
sacré
husbandry
univers,
was to
un
be
sacré
fashion,
univers.
It would be a large, manly animal like elk.
On va passer pour voir s'il y a quelque chose après. Et non, cette fois, c'est bel et bien terminé. Ben voilà qui conclut notre stream sur Little Orpheus. Hein. Encore un voyage au cœur du chaos. Merci à tous d'être passés. On se retrouve très bientôt. Le chaos ne fait que commencer.